So how did you guys meet?
Well, at school.
Childhood sweethearts?
Yeah, 16.
And then the year after, when you were age 17, we met?
Yeah.
How did that come about?
So I was doing an apprenticeship at an estate agent's, and I basically came across your YouTube and saw that a crash course was going on. Jake didn't really have...
You just dragged me along to the crash course and...
Yeah, I was like, I'm not going to London on my own, I'm 17. So dragged him along.
What could happen? Who could you meet?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So dragged him along, and then when we were there, basically discovered Rent to SA.
What did you think when you heard about the concept? Did you think, oh, that makes sense? Or were you sceptical?
Bit of both, really. But for us, the Rent to SA made a lot of sense, especially when we live in Bournemouth. It's great for tourism.
Yeah, holiday central, isn't it?
So you're 17 years old, you're at the Property Investors Crash Course, you've just learned about rent to serviced accommodation. Were you not thinking, that sounds great, but we're 17? And
Yeah.
So there's obviously some extra hardships when you're young and you're starting out. Did you have much money? Did you have much saved?
We had about £1,000 each.
Okay, so a little bit of money.
Yeah.
So what were the next steps then? So what happened at the crash course? Because I know now you've gone on to build a nice little rent-to-rent portfolio, financially free, full-time in property, and you've done incredibly well. But what was it that happened over those couple of days with me where it was like, I'm going to actually do this, yes?
I think it's where you said, like, you're going to get told no a lot.
Right.
And that because we got told no about, 10 times.
Well, when we're 17, landlords look at you like, no chance.
They don't take you seriously at all, like, really. And we didn't have any background. Like, it was basically like, oh, hi, we're 17, can we rent your property and rent it out, please? And they're like, with what? Like credentials? And we're like, none. So yeah, we got told no about 10 times. But where you said, like, you're going to be told no a lot, we were just like, right, keep going then. And then we finally had a really chilled landlord and was like, yeah, cool, take it for 3 years. We still got that one now, actually.
So how did that work then? So where is it? And talk me through the figures and the detail and the setup, how you found him, what happened?
Well, it's perfect location. It's literally a minute walk from Bournemouth Pier itself.
Right.
Around the corner, it's next to like nightclubs.
It's a new build.
It's a new build. It was literally perfect.
Well, how did you find the landlord?
We went on
Rightmove. It was through an agent, actually.
Right.
And they were basically just like, yeah, that's fine, because they just basically took our reference from our job as well. So we sort of had to do part company let, and then they wanted, obviously where we had nothing, they wanted our...
Right, you used to be a guarantor, right, for yourselves, for the company. So how much rent did you pay for that first property per month? What did you agree?
So it was $750, but then it's only just recently
it's gone up to $775.
So at the time it was $750, and you just turned 18 at this point, and you'd both got jobs?
Yeah,
so
a full-time job,
what were you doing?
estate agent.
Right,
and I was in retail.
Right.
JD Sports.
Okay, cool. So you used your income to put down as like, to back that you could afford it. Yeah. $750 a month, and then you had permission from the landlord to do it through serviced accommodation.
We were like literally at lunchtimes, like meeting, going cleaning the property, because we were like, right, let's make as much money as possible. Yeah. Now we've got cleaners in place, but yeah, at that point. But yeah, we make about £2,000 a month profit off that property. Wow. It's our best performing one.
It's our best one for sure, yeah.
Wow.
Even now, yeah.
So you pay $750, now $775 to the landlord, but then you rent it out for like thousands of pounds.
Yeah, so that's after like all bills as well. We make £2,000.
Yeah. And then you've got another one and another one. You just secured 6 recently?
Yeah, pretty much. So we've got...
Yeah, well, for the first 2 years, we had 2 properties. That one in Bournemouth, and then we managed a cabin in the New Forest. Right. And then in the start of this year, we just got 4 more.
Yeah, one's got a pool as well.
So have you literally just been doing this? This has been your full-time income?
So I left. So actually, so when lockdown hit, I got put on furlough for 8 months. Yeah. And we were just like, right, let's try to get more, And we just kept being told no. And we were like, right, what are we gonna do? So I actually got another part-time job at my stables, like with the horses. And then I was doing that. And then in August, I left that and now like doing this full time.
So you've been doing this full time now for about almost coming up to a year now?
Yeah, almost.
How about you, Jake? Still at JD Sports?
No more full time on it now. But at the start of the year, I left JD Sports and put all my eggs in the business.
So did you guys feel like you got a bit lucky, or do you think that you've just learned the system and applied it?
I think, to be honest, the first one was luck.
I think a bit of both, but the first one was definitely the
And then,
perfect property for us to get going.
Yeah.
And then after that, it has, like, I feel like we do sort of know it inside out now.
Well, the fact that you've gone and got multiple more, I mean, the first one is an absolute gem. Yeah. But the thing is as well, like, you went out and did it, didn't you?
Yeah.
So when you go out and you knock on doors and you call agents and you say the scripts, I just can't get over the fact that you came to the Property Investors Crash Course when you were 17. Yeah. That's just mind-boggling. Where did that drive come from? Like, what was it that made you think, I want to travel all the way to London, 17 years old, £1,000 in my pocket?
So my parents are entrepreneurs, they've got businesses, and I've always, I don't know if it's right or wrong, but I've always thought I'm not working for someone else. Mm-hmm. Like, I will work for myself. All growing up, I was like, I don't care what it is, or like, I don't know what it is yet, but I will be working for myself.
And look, what have you got to lose? It was a free crash course.
Yeah, I feel like at 17 is the best time because it's like you don't have a house to lose. Like, you're still living at home. Like, you can put everything you've got into it, and what's that, £1,000? You can just make that back.
Yeah. What does it feel like working together full time on your own business, not having to worry about having a job?
We thought we'd be fighting like cat and dog, but we're actually not.
Actually worked quite well,
yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
And you messaged me recently on Instagram.
Yeah.
And just summarise, what was it that you said to me like a couple of weeks ago?
I was basically just like, thank you so much, because this was basically after we were sort of working with a developer in Bournemouth / large landlord, and he sort of like basically given us as many as we want. So as time goes on, we'll hopefully take more from him. But yeah, so it was after like everything on that was agreed and like we just paid the first month's rent, and I was like, do you know what, I'm gonna message you because I actually didn't know even what this structure of a business was until we went to the crash course. Yeah. So it is all down to you.
And you know what, I really appreciate that because it gives me reason to keep going, keep doing what I'm doing. When people, I get messages regularly, every day from people saying similar stuff. And that's what gives me the drive and the energy to keep going, keep putting out content, keep running property training, even if it is free. So what would you say has been the most challenging point? Was there any moments where you thought, oh my goodness, this is difficult, I might quit?
I think when we both went full time and you're having to rely on purely the business for an income.
We're a bit like, what have we done? We should have maybe just for security, and then we were like,
4 more properties. You're then having to put rent deposit down. It's like we're pretty much on like.
But then I think our mindset has changed that we're now like, well, it has to work. Yeah. So it has to work. You've got no choice now. Exactly, You've got nothing to fall back on.
Now the money that you're making, I imagine, is a lot more than you would be if you were in a job.
Yeah.
I mean, how much with these? I know some of the properties that you've got are quite new, and you do need a few months to sort of be able to see exactly how much you're making. But how much are you projecting? How much are you expecting to be making from all of the portfolio now in total per month?
Probably about 10,000.
10 to 12. Well, summer it will be a bit more because we up our prices. But yeah, it'll be about 10 to 12 in July, I believe. Yeah. August will be probably about the same.
But summer's like.
But then the quieter months bring it back down.
Maybe about 7, 6.
Yeah, but that's an incredible. I mean, to earn that kind of money, generally you'd have to go to university for 6-7 years. Yeah. Qualify as a lawyer. Yeah. Work your way up the ranks. You have to be a barrister.
Yeah. Well, funnily enough, when I was at college and I was doing equine, I was like, I'm going to be a vet, so I'm going to go to uni, blah, blah, blah.
You never made that kind of money as a vet.
I was like, 7 years at uni, I don't think so. I was like, I need to look at other stuff. Yeah. But yeah.
What's it like in terms of lifestyle? Like how has your lifestyle changed, would you say?
Well, it's so much more freedom, isn't it?
It is, but then we also haven't got a day off messaging guests 24/7.
Right.
So it is a full-time job.
It's almost like that's the thing, isn't it? It's freedom from having to go to work, but then it's lifestyle.
I don't mind working for myself. Like, genuinely, I don't mind working full-time for myself.
When do you think you'll hire your first full-time member? Because you could hire somebody.
Yeah.
And then instead of making 10 grand, you might make 7 grand, but it would be completely passive.
Yeah, well, that is the next step, really. I think we just want a few more, maybe.
Yeah.
And then, we can start.
Have you looked at doing other strategies like packaging and selling deals and?
We have looked into it. I think, to be honest, we need a bit more education before we go into that.
When we first came at the crash course, we did actually look at HMOs first.
Right.
But we saw service accommodation and we thought that was best suited for us where the location we are.
Yeah.
But we definitely will look into other things.
Amazing. And also buying stuff as well.
Yeah,
buying stuff in
100%.
Bournemouth. Maybe buying down, run down a house, turn it into luxury apartments, refinance it, rent the whole thing out as service departments, and then it's yours.
Funnily enough, we were speaking to a mortgage advisor a couple months ago because we had quite a big chunk of money. And we were going to buy something, but then we met this developer and he was basically like, take as many rents as you want.
Right.
So we were basically like, okay, let's put all our money into that then, because then that can create more money.
Yeah.
So.
And that's the different. The thing is, in property, I always say this: you've got a property business, which is trading, fast pound, cash flow, and then you've got property investments. And right now, you guys are young, so you're focusing more on the business side of it to get the cash flow up. And then once you're making a bucket load of money, you can then start building your own portfolio. So what would you say has been the biggest lesson if you were kind of advising your 3-year younger self when you were just finishing school? What would you say to yourself? Just starting out in this journey.
Don't be scared. Just give it a go.
Yeah.
Because otherwise we wouldn't be in the situation we are now if we never came to the crash course and then we never gave service accommodation a go.
Yeah, it's basically just what is there to lose?
Exactly. Yeah.
Like coming out of school, what is there to lose? You may as well put your all into something rather than going the safe route of no, I've got to get a full-time job, I've got to do that. Like, I do sort of wish we did it earlier, really.
Get out of here, guys!
No, honestly, because I've like even just working, like, we could have done it earlier, we could have been a year ahead of ourselves.
Well, yeah, but I think you did it pretty early.
Yeah,
so I think we're okay. It always makes me curious when people take like a gap year. And go and travel and stuff. I think why doesn't everybody take a gap year to financial freedom?
Once you've made money as well, you can enjoy it more.
Well, yeah, but what I'm talking about is if people can take a gap year just to travel, which is fine, why can't everybody take a gap year to financial freedom? I'm going to spend 1 year. I can always go to uni later, right? When I leave school, I'm going to spend 1 year and I'm going to get trained and I'm going to go crazy and I'm going to try the different property strategies. And if it doesn't work, then I got some experience from it. If it does work, I can cancel that 5-year uni plan. I can cancel that, and I can live the rest of my life on my terms.
Yeah.
I think one of the things that people probably might think on this video, watching this interview, so I want to just address it, because you're young and because you're so successful, is, I bet your mum and dad have given you loads of money and helped you out. And so, I mean, if that was the case, it wouldn't be a problem, but I just wanted to address it. Yeah. Talk to me about parents' involvement.
We haven't had a penny.
Not 1 penny.
It's all been our own money that started it. My parents are quite big on, like, if you need us, like, really, really need us.
If you're in the prison cell, I'll come and get you.
Yeah, but you need to make your own money. Like, you
That's
go
good,
out.
though.
Yeah.
That's good.
So, like, they will be there if needed, if you know what I mean. But we haven't had any money.
They wouldn't see you on the streets.
Yeah.
They'd shut the curtains.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Okay. How about yourself?
My parents have always been supportive, but I haven't seen 1 penny, and I don't really want to. I want to make it myself.
Yeah. But that's the best kind of parents. Exactly. Best kind of parenting is just to believe and support, but not to necessarily give big handouts. Yeah. Incredible. What were there people at the beginning though? Not necessarily parents, but just friends, family, colleagues, school friends, whatever, that were like, "What are you doing? You're crazy."
Yeah, and I think sometimes when we're up at 3 a.m. dealing with guests that maybe aren't happy with something, they're a bit like, is it worth it? Like, is it worth that £100 a night or whatever? And I'm like, well, yeah, it is really in the long run. And also, I think with SA, what's good is you can, if you have a bad guest, it's a stress for maybe a week. If you've got a bad tenant, it's a stress for months.
That's right.
So it's like a good return almost.
Yeah, that's true.
makes sense.
How did you feel though when I mean, even when you started out, I'm also thinking as well, because a lot of people, I mean, yes, when you got your business and you're up till 3 with a bad guest, people might be like, whoa, what are you doing? I don't envy you. But what about when you started out, before you made the leap? What were the general consensus from friends, school, family? Like, what was the...
I mean, I don't think they really got it.
Yeah, I think they're a bit like, okay.
Because a lot of them are 9 to 5. That's all they live for. They just look for the paycheck at the end of the month.
Which there's nothing wrong with that.
No, but we like to work for ourselves. We like to get our own money and...
Yeah. Because I think it must be so hard. I have such respect for you guys, but when people step out and they've got people around them like, what are you doing? Yeah. Especially when you're young, it must be so... For me, it was quite daunting. Luckily, I had some people in my family that were really supportive. Like, my mum was really supportive, but there's a lot of people that were not. Yeah. And it's just interesting because it's you know, you were so young. Yeah. I'm just curious. What would you say your steps are now? Like, what are you wanting to do next? What's the plan?
I think more essays, as much essays
as we
can.
More of what you're doing.
As much as we can, and then we would like to buy eventually and start buying our own. Yeah. And we would like to look into other avenues as well, like deal sourcing and stuff. But as I say, I think we do need a bit, because we've only had the free.
You did what?
We've only had the free training.
Yes.
So we've done this off the free training.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So what can we do with paid training?
And that's another thing as well, because when you came, you were 17 years old, and you didn't have loads of money and stuff. But like, sometimes people think, oh, there's no point going to the Property Investors Crash Course because I'm just going to get sold an expensive mentorship program or whatever. And it's like, well, no, the crash course and the free training in and of themselves are brilliant. Of course, there's option to do further training. And of course, I'm going to be like, hey, I'm going to sell the advanced training. But the free training in and of itself is ridiculously good. Yeah.
I think if we did do the paid training, we would have probably fast forward our success. But still, like, we've got here and we're 20 with just the free training of yours, so it's obviously...
What was it about those 2 days that you spent with me for free that was so... Because you keep referring back to it, like, what was it about those 2 days that happened, or the experience that was so impactful in your business?
Well, it was, you were always saying about energy, bring energy, and it was us getting out of our comfort zone, really, because we sat at the back and we were quite nervous, didn't want to get involved, just wanted to watch and not do anything. But then you made us go into teams, find deals and stuff like that. And
so we sort of had to, like, because we'd never obviously done anything like that. I was 17. Yeah. So, like, speaking to strangers and, like, working with strangers, and it sort of did us good, really. So I think learning how to create relationships even, like, helped.
Yeah, because when people come to the courses, sometimes a lot of people like you, they come sit at the back and it's like, no, this is not a seminar, this is a doer. Yeah. You're going to be on the phones, man. You're going to be finding deals.
We learned by the end, and we were sort of creeping more towards the front. But at the start, we were like, ooh, and everyone, like, we were obviously really young. And
So you're 20 years old now. You've got 6 rent-to-rents. You're financially independent. You're both full-time in property. Huge respect to what you've done. I know we'll see you on the advanced training later on, and we can start scaling and do different things, but the fact that you've done that from the crash course is just absolutely incredible. What would your final words of wisdom and advice be to anyone watching this that's thinking, I want to do the same thing, I want to get into property? What would be your best piece of advice?
Just give it a go.
I think, as we've said throughout, what is there to lose? Like, give it a crack, basically.
Amazing.
Especially if you can start with as little, no money, basically. Then what are you losing? Like, you may as well give it a go.
Well done. Huge respect. Well done, Jake.
Thank you.